Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Masha and today I'm reviewing Holbein Gouache, and this is the set I bought in Japan. It has 12 colors and it comes in a very sturdy, nice box. So let's get started. This box doesn't have any additional information. I will show you later the acrylic gouache that Holbein has, and it has little leaflets about color mixing. It's just the box just has minimum information about the general mission, how they make the paint, the size of the tubes, and general safety precautions, because this is artist grade gouache and this is not made or intended to be used by kids, because I will also show you some colors maybe a little bit more dangerous than others, and they are not good for occasional use on skin, or if it's used by children to be swallowed or inhaled, or if it gets in their eyes or something like that. Even if you're adult, you still should be cautious, of course, but I just wanted to highlight, and it's also highlighted here in Japanese and in English, that this is not paints for kids. And although that's mentioned here, also the price is not something that is often purchased for kids. Okay, so now we have 12 colors. Basically, this is a color wheel in one box, and we have primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, in two temperatures, warm and cool. So we kind of have the whole wheel here, not the whole, but most of it. So we have carmine, we have flame red, permanent green light and deep, permanent yellow deep, lemon yellow, turquoise blue, ultramarine deep blue, violet, black, it's ivory black, permanent white, and burnt sienna. So burnt sienna will be great for making skin tones, and it's technically look like brown color if you're doing any landscapes. White, of course, is good for adding even extra opacity, highlights, mixing paints, and all other colors are very nice. I will show in a second how they are on paper. But before we proceed, I want to show you the tubes and how to read them. These tubes have Japanese writing, of course, because I bought it in Japan, but not all of them will have it. So each tube has, of course, the name of the paint, the how many milliliters is there, the seal, this is non-toxic paint, and also the mention of pigment that was used to produce this paint, and some paints single pigmented, which again tells us that this is a high quality professional artist grade gouache. And some of them will be still mixed. For example, turquoise blue, it has 3 pigments in it. So we have here green pigment, blue pigment, white pigment, and another shade of green pigment to get the turquoise blue we have in our box. Also, the tube has the mention of transparency. I've also published a review that has the full little table how to read transparencies for Holbein, but this transparent circle with a line in the middle means that this is a semi-transparent color. Then we have here the light fastness stars. Holbein has also their own classification from 0 stars, like for example violet. As you can see, violet has no stars whatsoever. It means that this color is not permanent at all. To 4 stars. 4 stars, of course, means the absolutely permanent, excellent light fastness color. 2 stars means moderately permanent. So this is not excellent and fantastic permanency, but still this is a decent permanent paint. What Holbein often says about the paint, about the gouache, that although it's quite durable, very opaque, has not nice coverage, it is not resistant to water, of course, because it's a gouache, right? And it's not resistant for any rubbing or scraping or any like really harsh interactions with the painted surface. So if you want to increase the permanency, the light fastness, and the durability of the paint, the brand recommends to use either a fixative. It can be a spray fixative, for example Winsor & Newton have one in a big can, or you can use varnish. They recommend using matte varnish because, well, it kind of matches the finish of the paint. It is matte and the varnish will be matte, but if you want to also increase the shine and make it shinier, you can of course use not matte but satin or even gloss varnish if you'd like. So what else we have here? We also have the series. This is not something that will impact the performance of the paint, but they do have a few series based on what pigments were used, how expensive it was to make this specific color, and based on that they will attribute it to a specific series. Holbein also has a safety data sheet that contains all the information for each color. I think they have around 90 or maybe 89 colors for gouache and the color chart, and this PDF, I have a link to it in my article that I will also have a link in description. This PDF contains information about each color, what pigments were used, if there is any harmful ingredients, and how light fast, opaque, or transparent they are, what series they are, and some general information about the paint. Now, when I was saying that they're generally non-toxic paints, because yes, you see on the tube that they passed the test being non-toxic paint. However, it does not mean that all the colors are equally non-toxic and safe to use. For example, we have violet that is non-toxic, but still based on some countries' regulation, including Japan, if a paint, a color has something dangerous, potentially dangerous, and they also need to mark it. So this violet contains formaldehyde. It does contain it in a very low amount that it still allows the paint to be non-toxic and pass all the tests, but it is they have to mention it on the tube so you know it, and if you have any sensitivity or you just don't want to use any unsafe paint, you will avoid the violet. I have to say that still in traditional paint production, a lot of acrylics, a lot of gouache, a lot of watercolor still contain very low safe to paint amount of some hazardous elements. For example, cadmiums. We know there is cadmium yellow, cadmium red, cadmium orange. We know there is cobalt blue. We know there is zinc white, etc., etc. And to achieve the extraordinary opacity and the vibrancy of the colors, brands still have to use that. There are already tendencies to replace, for example, cadmium with cadmium-free alternatives, and some brands starting to produce it, but it's not as wide applicable as we wished for. And even though the paints, I will repeat again, are safe to paint with, some may still contain something a little bit dangerous. That's why these paints are not for kids, and you cannot swallow them, you cannot apply them to your face or to your hands, and even though you can spray them, you cannot inhale them. Right, so that's what I wanted to say, and of course I want to say that these are very nice tubes. They're very sturdy, the cup lids are very nice, and the tubes are filled very well. Okay, so I also want to quickly address that this is gouache, and Holbein also have acrylic gouache, and this is two different paints. Gouache has a primarily pigment binded with gum arabic. Sometimes some cheaper brands can also have some chalk in it, some whitening agent to make paints more opaque. Gouache doesn't have any of it, it's just gum arabic. Sometimes some colors have dextrine, but not all of them, and it can have some moisturizers to make the texture creamier and smoother for application. But again, as I said, this is pure pigments, single or mixed, and they do not have any additives that enhances colors, hence the price also. But acrylic gouache does not have only that, it also has acrylic polymer emulsion that makes acrylic gouache water resistant when it's dry, and it may alter a little bit the finish. It may seem a little bit more like glossier, and it has a little different tubes, as you can see, from a regular traditional gouache to acrylic gouache. I will have a separate review on acrylic gouache soon from Holbein, but for now I just wanted to address that they have different composition. It can affect how they are different in application, and they also have a slightly different colors in the sets, even though both sets are 12 color sets. Oh yeah, and also, as I said, this one has a leaflet about color mixing. This is in Japanese, I can translate it, but it will be in English if you will order it from Amazon. But it also contains all the information, how to read the labels, how to mix paints, and how to apply them, and just in general about acrylic gouache. Okay, now we are done with that. I've already can move on to colors. So this is how the colors dried. As you remember, we were adding water here, and it was much more transparent while wet, and you could still see the water movements while it was wet. When it's dried to a very smooth and darker and very even surface, very even finish, except some colors that were having more water. I really love the colors. They're very smooth. They do not look chalky at all, because, as I said, it doesn't have any choco whitening agents in it. It just has a very nice, smooth, matte finish. Especially the flame red is simply beautiful. Of course, camera does not translate the colors 100% accurate. You need to have your own swatches made, and you can cut them all to make sure you can mix match them on canvas, on paper, to see what colors go well together, or just to make it easier for you to store than one big paper. But yes, I absolutely love the colors, how they work directly from the tube, or with a very little amount of water, and even with more water in it. There is also a black example. This has less water, more paint, and more water, and we can see it acts like watercolor, and it still dries to a very nice soft finish. And of course, the opacity test also dried, and we can see that even though the brand says, when we look at the tube, that, for example, turquoise blue is semi-opaque, and ultramarine, for example, is opaque, we can see that they are almost quite the same. I used a little bit more water for the turquoise blue, but all the colors except for the lighter ones, the yellows and the permanent light green, they're quite opaque, which is very nice. Now, for painting, it means they will be great for layering. And of course, I tried mixing. We saw it already, and this is also how the mixed colors dries, and you can see that they do not have any muddy mixes, as these colors directly from the tubes are vibrant, opaque, and nice. Same goes for the mixed colors. They try to even smooth finish, even with a little bit of water. Immense possibilities for mixing, even tiniest, slightliest nuances and shades of colors. It's all possible. I tested all the colors. They're all mixable. I love mixing on my huge palette. I cannot even fit it in the one screen. But yes, I absolutely love that one. So I was mixing both on papers and on this humongous palette. And it's super easy. In just a few seconds, it mixes very well. And I also have to say that regarding performance, it blends also very easily. And you can correct blending going over the colors if you feel like there's still some edges that are not as soft as you wished. The blending, as you can see, I blended the colors for the sky, and I will link to the tutorial I followed for this landscape and for the field. So I was using blending technique twice here, and in both times it worked amazingly. It's very easy for beginners to mix with Holbein. And to compare, I wanted to show you the other pictures. I also have the Jelly Gouache, affordable and still amazing, by Himi. I'm sure you saw it. It comes in the boxes like this, and I love it. It's affordable, and it's great also for beginners and just amateurs, and the blending also works well. But if you will compare the two, you can see that this surface is a little bit more chalky and less smooth, the transition here, and the colors softer, nicer, and more natural, seem to be more natural in Holbein than in Himi, even though I love Mia Gouache, and nothing wrong with it. It's cheaper and still great quality. So yes, and as you can see, some mixing here, very nice. And as a watercolor, Mia Gouache also works quite well. So if you are on a budget, you can opt for Mia Gouache first and then upgrade to Holbein. If you can afford already a Holbein for your painting practice, I would definitely go for it. It's an amazing paint. You can see all the details. It works amazingly, and it dries pretty quick. It dries quick on palette, it dries quickly on paper, but of course with just a drop of water you can always reactivate it. And just to test it, I will try to reactivate some mixed and just lift some colors, because of course gouache has the option for lifting colors, unlike acrylic gouache or acrylics. So just with a little bit of water we can immediately lift the color, which also confirms what we kind of know about gouache, that it is not water resistant at all, nor it's waterproof. And if we want to protect it, we have to use some fixative or varnish. And the colors are very easy to lift and to wash off, or to correct any mistakes if we want to correct it. If it's too dark, we can lift some color and make it more transparent, add more water to create washes. So yes, the colors are easy to lift. And that's pretty much all I would like to share with you about Holbein Gouache. I hope you really like how it can be used on paper, on watercolor paper, on sketchbook paper also can be used, and on canvas. And although it is more expensive, much more expensive than Himi gouache or even I think Winsor & Newton gouache, it is really worth every dollar you will spend on it. I must say that the 12 color set, because as you can see it has all needed colors and we can mix whatever color we want, so I think the 12 color set is the optimal choice, because the bigger the set, of course, it will be more expensive. And Holbein has, like, this is a 12 color set, they have 84 color set that I found for sale on Bleak Art Supplies, and guess how much it costs? It cost $700 something dollars. Well, as much as I love gouache, I am not spending $700 on 84 colors, because I can spend like $30 on that set. I spent 35, I think, in Japan, and I think on Amazon, depending on the seller, it goes either for around 30 to like 47. I think it depends on where they are importing it from. But this being said, with 12 colors, I can do the same 84 colors, so there is no reason for me to paying $700 unless it's a very like extravagant gift for someone. But for $700, oh god, I can spend the $700 in the art supply store easy, but I will get more stuff, you know. So I think that when a 12 color set is optimal value for money, and you will get professional grade gouache that you can use even if you are a beginner. Thank you, and next time I'll talk also about acrylic gouache and some other acrylic paints I have in my storage. Have a nice day. Bye bye.